Hey YouTube, Dr. O. I've got a note. I had a car towed in over the weekend, so we're going to pull that in and look at it. This note says that the malfunction indicator light is on, the ESP and ESP traction control light, stability brake assist light is on and off several times, and it also notes here that the car would not start. 2 different times she jiggled the ignition and it started. So let's go look at it. Like I say, 2009 Jeep, what'd you say? 2009 Jeep Compass. So go in the parking lot, grab this thing, see if it starts, and then we'll bring it in, plug it in, and see what we find wrong with it. Alright, well it's pretty obvious from just a second ago. The car starts and runs. I drove it in. No lights are on the dash, so before we make a phone call to the customer to get kind of some more of the story here, we're going to take and just plug it in and see if we have any old history codes. Something might give us a clue as to what could be going on here. Alright, so we've got it hooked up to our Veris here. Go through it and select this out. Alright, made communications there. We'll just go ahead and we're going to do a code scan on all the modules in the car. See if it gives us any clue as to what's happening here. Now if we don't see anything there, we'll take it for a little test drive and call this lady and see if we can get a little more details as far as what's going on. So okay, so the engine light has a couple codes for the cooling fan control circuits. The ABS has multiple codes in it here. VIN mismatch, implausible vehicle configuration data received, steering angle, sensor internal, communications loss of ECM, lost communications of ECM, lost communications of ECM. Wow. So we have lots of codes in here and quite a few different modules. I'm going to do some digging here on our repair program, see if there's any service bulletins, anything of that nature right off the start. A lot of times when you get multiple codes like this, some erratic problems, quite often they'll have factory service bulletins if there's a problem or something that's happens all the time on these, a reflash or something that's really unique. So we're going to check that first, and I'll be back with you with kind of what our plan, our strategy, and what we're going to do from here. All right, YouTube. I spent some time digging around here on Mitchell On Demand, a program that we use for our repair information. There's no service bulletins, nothing put out by Chrysler. I don't see any tips or anything put out by anybody else with these issues. So now we have to think a little bit. Looking on when we pulled up all these codes here with the Veris, we've got the cooling fan codes. Almost, quite a few of the modules had codes in it for losing communication with the PCM. What else was there here? Lost communications with front control module. VIN mismatch, implausible data received. So it leads me to think that there's more than likely corrosion or broken wire, something of that nature. These Jeeps and Chrysler products in general typically have problems with the front control modules, totally integrated. Well, in this thing here would be a tip on a totally integrated power module. So it's not uncommon to see, especially here in New York with all the salt and saltwater spray and road debris and crap getting up in these fuse boxes, to see them all just green and crusty. So we're going to go over, just pop the cover off the fuse box. Going to start taking a look at some obvious stuff here before we get too far. Particularly like the cooling fans will look like near the cooling fan relays. And I'm going to look here on a wire diagram. It looks like the cooling fan relays, the ECM main relay and stuff is all in its own separate little box. So we'll go a look at that and see what we see. All right, so I've just went and popped the hood on it. So we got 2 fuse boxes. We've got the one up here on the TIPM, the totally integrated power module. We're not really concerned with that. What I want to go want to look at is this little guy right down here. That seems to have more in common with all the codes that we have than anything that is in the fuse box. So down here you've got a separate relay box that should house the relays for the cooling fans, and it should also have the engine main relay in it, which powers the PCM. So I don't know how good this video is, but you can see on these wires just how white and crusty and salt covered and stuff they are. So I would not be surprised if we pull that off and find some issues there. We'll look and see what we can find here. So I can't hold the camera and tear that apart, so I'm going to set it down for a second. Took the air induction cover off the air box there, the battery access, so you can see down in here better. Oh yeah. So there's one relay. That's what they're supposed to look like. That's what that one looks like. So you can see one of the control sides of the relay has gone bad. I'd have to look on a diagram to see which relay that is, but I don't know if you can see down through there or not, but that relay is still intact. Oh yeah, there's another one. Another low side of that relay is also bad, another control side. So that's not good. That fuse box down there, I think it's hardwired in. I don't know if that has an electrical connector on the back of it as far as taking that out or not, but here is, that's not good. This lady is probably not gonna be happy with that, because if that does not plug in, that's gonna be an expensive little repair. So I guess my assessment would be is this. I'm gonna contact her and talk about you know, if the engine light's been on prior, because I believe there's two of these I know are the cooling fan relay, the cooling fan parallel relay, and it should be the main engine relay. So we have to start here before we track down any other problems. We have to start here and fix this. I don't know if all of these codes and all of these problems happened all at once, but this is where we're going to start. So I guess it's kind of a short video because there's probably not going to be a fix for this today, but I just kind of wanted to share with you what we found. It was a pretty quick diagnosis, a little bit of looking at a diagram, seeing what everything had in common, going to the common source. First couple relays we pulled out are green and crusty. So I guess that's it. Hopefully we get this vehicle back in for a fix and I can show you how we repaired it. So until next time. Alright, so I took and I guess just real quick here, I just out of curiosity, I was curious if this thing plugged in. So I pulled the fuse box up out of its bracket and get my hand on it, I think kind of pissed her working. It does not plug in. This is all hardwired onto the onto this block, so you can see the corrosion and stuff. That wire there's broke. Another one up here that's broke. So a lot of the green goblins got a hold of this guy. So I'm going to kind of trace this out, see where this harness goes. It's probably all part of the main harness. If that's the case, that's not a feasible repair as far as, you know, buying a harness. I mean, that's going to make it, I mean, that would make it, you know, just outrageous as far as repair goes. So the options would be, you know, to cut that and just wire in individual relays, which, you know, if the lady's going to keep the car, which, you know, why wouldn't you? I think that's a repair. So I'll get a hold of her, and like I say, hopefully we get the job, and if we do, show you how to fix that. I don't know if it's, you know, a common problem elsewhere, but, you know, definitely what we found here. So, all right, now, until next time. All right, YouTube, I've called the customer and talked to the lady, gave her options. Looks like that fuse box is part of the entire wiring harness, so, you know, getting it from Dodge is not an option. At least not a cost-effective one. So we got a couple things I think we can do to fix it. We can chop it out and you know, go ahead and put in, you know, just wire in 4 independent relays. You know, it's a little bit of a lengthy procedure, not impossible, totally doable. The other option is we can go to the salvage yard and try to find one. But unfortunately unfortunately, you know, I don't know if what we find will be any better than what we have. So that's what we're doing right now. We're in the ridge line, heading down to the junkyard and see if we can find one of these little guys and go from there. So I thought I'd bring you with me. All right, YouTube, we are out back of the junkyard. It looks like, what is that there? That looks like a Jeep Patriot. Let's get out here and see if there's anything under the hood of that little guy. Oh, that's crap here. See what we can find here. Uh-oh, she looks like she's sitting in front. Hey, what's this? Hey, look at that. Turn out on that bracket, right out in the open. Sweet. Hey, look at that. This is an updated one. Oh, no, it's not. That's not a plug-in. Okay, it comes around there. All right, I'm going to set the camera down for just a second, wiggle this thing off the bracket, see if it's any good. All right, well, I wiggled it up off the bracket. Intact, didn't break any of the holders. I don't see any green goblins in this little guy. So I think the first vehicle we stopped at was a success. So go ahead and do some wiring. Look at that. Well, I'd say we struck gold, because this is going to save a whole lot of time and money here for this lady. When I finish driving down this road, maybe we will find another one that we can rob some relays out of. That'd be great. Alright, well, we drove around out back here at the junkyard for a while. I didn't find any more Patriots or compasses, so we're just going to take what we have, and we'll just buy a couple relays. We're going to head back to the shop, and I don't know if today or tomorrow we'll be able to get this thing spliced in there and hopefully get this lady fixed back up at a minimum cost. Hey YouTube, well, it's a new day. We're back at this Jeep here for a minute. So may have jumped the gun slightly there. I took this took the battery out of this thing and took the fuse box over here so I could have a lot closer look and see how many wires were actually corroded. Definitely got that one there, that one there. So it looks like, realistically, just those two relays, a lot of the bigger male terminals or female terminals there look pretty good still. I think if I can dig out that one there, that's the worst one. That as long as the plastic housing here isn't damaged, and we can take and dig that out, and the retainer is still good in there to hold the new pin, we'll just we'll slip the wires out of the one we grabbed at the junkyard there and swap them over to this one, you know, as opposed to you know, transferring everything, or cutting the whole harness and all that business. So you know, the least number of places we can make, the better. So I think that'll be a good fix, so long as I can get that one dug out of there. So I'm gonna take a minute and see what we can do here. Okay, so I've did a little poking around there, and I've decided the plastic housing on that one has got enough corrosion into it to the point that it went and cracked the housing, you know, just slightly. Where the pins go in here, it's not going to be able to hold a new pin, you know, properly. We could rig it up and stuff it up in there. I'd lose sleep at night if I did something like that. So at any rate, these connectors come apart quite easily, being that we only have essentially one bad wire on that one over there. Of course, it goes to 4 different pins here on the relays. I'm just going to take and just swap this plastic housing over, and if everything goes well, which hopefully it does, we should be able to just have to make one wire splice. We'll use the connector we got from the junkyard, and you know, should be able to get the vehicle back up and running. These connectors come apart relatively easily. There's little lock tabs on each female spade there. You kind of hold them up with a pick, then you can wiggle them right out. So it is a pretty easy one to get to. Doesn't really require any special tools. Once you pull this, the little white cover that just pops off. Once you take that off, you can see the release tab for each female spade. So we'll take those out, we'll swap it over. I'm not going to record the whole process because even though it's easy, it does take a little bit of time, and I'll probably get interrupted a million times here at work throughout the day doing this. But I'll get it swapped over. When I get it done, I'll show you how we're going to splice that together and go from there. Okay, so you can see here we've got the connector all swapped over, so that looks really good. Just going to take and put the cover back on it. I'll leave that lower cover off for now, but you can see I left, hopefully you can see this here, I left a single wire here. That was our initial problem. I've got the other one just kind of dangling out of the harness right there. So I'm going to grab some stuff to repair that and wait for our relays to show up. I had to get them right through Dodge. I couldn't get them aftermarket in any reasonable amount of time, so I just grabbed some new relays through Chrysler and get this thing put back together. But yeah, not too big a deal. A lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So here's the old block that we took out. You can see, how much corrosion and junk was in there. But like I say, when I was starting to pick at that one there, it just, the connector's just falling apart. I think that corrosion gets in there and just starts to swell up. Just kind of ruins everything. The little lock tabs and stuff. Like I say, we could have dug it out and kind of rigged it together, but like I say, we're doing it for the customer, and we want to do the best job that we're able to do, and provide them with the best repairs. So they're paying for it, so we want to make sure we do it right. All right, so I've got my camera grill back. So this is the wire, the pigtail. Essentially, that was the only wire that was bad. So there was two connectors, two female pins in there that were bad. They all run off the same wire. I'd have to look on a wire diagram. I assume they're the power to the control side of the relay. It's kind of redundant what it is, but at any rate, I'm going to use one of these crimp and seal heat shrink connectors. Put it on that side. I've already stripped the wires back on this one. Kind of insert them in there. Left myself a little extra wire lead in case I mess it up. Got it crimped on there. That one feels a little loose still, so I'm going to re-crimp that one. See how that feels now. Okay, that one's tight. That one's tight. You grab the giant blowtorch. Kind of go through and heat that up a little bit. You're probably supposed to use a heat gun, but this seems to work. Plus, I don't have a heat gun, of all things. Got a lot of tools. I don't have a heat gun. I think if you're smart with your little mini torch, you can do it just fine. So, the other method I like to use a lot is just regular heat shrink or solder and heat shrink. But situations like this where I can get in there with one of these, I think they're equally as good. As long as you get a good crimp and you're able to heat it up and let it shrink down on there properly. It has like an adhesive that comes out of the heat shrink that really locks it together good. So we're kind of at a standstill on this for right now. I'll let that cool down. We're waiting on Dodge to show up with the parts. So as soon as they get here, we'll put the relays in it, put the battery back in it in the meantime here, and see if it runs. Alright, so we got our new relays in here from Dodge. They just showed up. So now it comes down to the moment of truth. Grab the light here. Okay, so you can see, while I was waiting for the relays to get here, I took and probably remember the battery there. That thing was pretty corroded. So I cleaned that off, put that together. I've remounted the box back down in there, and as a preventative measure, you see I packed it. I pushed a bunch of just non-conductive dielectric grease down inside the terminals there. I'm going to just go ahead and put all the Can't see me do it, but we're just gonna put all brand new relays in it. And 2 of them were totally trashed. The 2 that were good, I figure, well, we'll just replace them. I don't know if they have any green corrosion or anything creeping up inside of them, so I figure, well, for the price of a relay, better safe than sorry. So transfer it to the new box. So throw the lid back on this. It's in a terrible spot. Seems like they could have come up with some other place. It just gets a lot of crap down there off the road and stuff. This is what I use, the non-conductive dielectric grease. It's made by Grote. It's called Ultra Seal. I get this down at Napa. It's really cheap, actually, compared to dielectric grease. You usually get in the 1 or 2 ounce tubes that cost you a bunch of money. This stuff's like, let's say it's like $8 or $9. It's, what is it, 8 ounces? You know, big 8 ounce container. We use a lot of this here, light bulbs and connectors and stuff. So, like I said, I grabbed that down at Napa. It works good. Here's all of our old stuff. You can see, you know, all the old relays. We just swapped out that connector. Only made 1 splice, and I would say I've got a stockpile of these things. You never seem to have the right one here. Throw a zip tie around it, stick it with your electrical stuff. You know, you never know in the future. It might come in handy. You probably just end up doing what I do, put it somewhere where you never remember where you put it. So, that back on there. That. I'm gonna hit the key, see if this thing runs. Starts and runs, so that's a major plus. Got it plugged in here to the Varus, so I think what we ought to do is kind of go back on here, let it reactivate, find itself again. We're going to go through and clear the codes out of it, take it for a drive, see if any codes come back. We were having some issues, if you remember, with the steering wheel module. There was a couple other codes in there that I'm pretty near certain don't pertain to any portion of what we fixed. Granted, you know, what we fixed will fix the cooling fans and stuff. So we'll go through here and clear this. It should fix all the communication codes that we have. So that's that, or like I said, we'll take it for a drive, and I'll be back here just shortly to see if anything pops back up. Alright, YouTube, I just got back from a test drive with this bad machine here. No engine light, everything seemed to work fine. I did about a 10-mile ride. Did some town driving here, took it out on the main road, you know, did some highway driving there, did a couple ABS stops on some loose gravel, checked the traction control taking off too. That all seems to work. Did a lot of 360-degree maneuvers, you know, just exercising the steering wheel angle sensor, because I know I had some issues with that. Just kind of, you know, just tried out all the different systems, make sure everything's working. Tested the cooling fans, make sure they're kicking on and off, and they are. So it appears that all the relays are working there. The engine relay is working. So now we'll just do a quick. I brought the Varus with me. So we can just do a code scan now and see if we're gonna have to pull it back in and do anything more at this point, or you know, what the story is here. So we'll see what it comes up with. Raining like crazy out there. Code scan results. A little bit of a glare there. Well, looks like we're in good shape for right now. Now I know it didn't go through a full drive cycle, you know, at this point, but I'm not super concerned with it. I think we've probably fixed, you know, 90% of the problems. I don't know if it's gonna, you know, trip a, you know, code for a steering angle sensor again, or if she's gonna have any more, you know, ABS problems or whatever. But you know, I'd say at this point we'll give it back to the customer and let them take and drive it, and maybe check with her in a week or so to see if there's any more issues, or if that, that little bit of corrosion down there in that harness was, solves a lot more problems than what we think. So at any rate, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it's useful. I know it's kind of long. It's a little different style than what I've done on some of them. So I'd be interested to hear your comments. I don't know what what you guys like to see. If you just want short, quick, to the point, here's how to fix it, or a little bit of dialogue in between. So that's it. Subscribe to our channel if you like it. Check us out on Facebook. You can find us over there at facebook.com/selfmadeauto. I think there's a link down here, so you can look into that. So anyhow, interested to hear your comments. So have a nice day.